you like to start your thing off?
Yeah, sure. All right, I made a few changes on our development status report. Mainly on commercial stuff. Camden Park, not a whole lot's changed there. I thought y'all would have phase 5 final plat by now, but
It's
I guess not.
it's very close.
Yeah. Elmwood Ridge, they're still working in, or still building houses in Sector 4. Same goes for Phase 2, Sector 4, Shallow Creek. Coslin, basically the same thing. They're still building in Phase 3. Aberdeen, they're still in construction in Phase 1. I don't know if anybody's been up through that way. They're doing the turn lanes now. So, Sitter's Place, y'all gave a preliminary plat extension last month. Timberline, they're cutting roads in Phase 7 and still building houses in Phase 6. So they probably got 10 or 12 houses in Phase 6.
How many phases are they gonna have?
7 will be it.
I think 7.
Yeah, Timberline will be done in Phase 7. Waterford, I think everybody knows what's going on with that. Same with Dunsmore. Seth Gardens, they are steadily working in there. I haven't been by there. I need to go by
They
there
have
and see what's
plumbing
going
in,
on.
so they've started.
Yeah, they're plumbing?
Mhm.
Okay, so yeah, they're going pretty good then. Mill Point, y'all approved their preliminary plat last month. As far as commercial, industrial goes, Comfort Inn, still waiting on, resubmit on the civil plans. Holiday Inn Express, civil plans have been approved and construction has begun. That's the one right beside the new doctor's office. As a matter of fact, that dentist office is in that doctor's office. Wendy's is going in the old Taco Bell. Said that a couple times. Convenience store on 42 and 70. Civil and building plans have been approved. I haven't seen them do anything over there.
Is that across from Waterford?
It's across from Kensington.
Kensington.
Yeah.
Did I hear something or read something that they're gonna do a light there or something?
I think they're supposed to.
Yeah, we have that in our budget, to do a light this new year.
From Kensington?
In front of Kensington at 42 and 70, we have that approval and the budget set for that. It's coming.
Homes 2 Suites, that's the one beside Hampton. They're steadily working on that. At Wayne Industries, they're working out there. I've only been out there a couple times, but they're going pretty steady. Kings Crossing, that's the one over by Marvin's, and I'm sure all of y'all have probably seen them working on that too.
They got plumbing.
Yep, they got one. I did see that. Coslin Convenience Store, we're still waiting on some resubmittal of the civil plans. Mavis Tire is, they have their CO and they are open for business. And that's what we're going to have, we need to talk about tonight, is these things. I took Waffle House off because I haven't heard anything from them in almost 6 months. So if something comes back up, we'll go back up there.
How long I got before they have to resubmit to year?
Well, they just sent in civil plans,
Yeah,
we sent them back, and they never sent anything
Time
back.
limit on the plan.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. I guess we could discuss this,
Minutes.
well, we're not doing business meeting yet.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We wanted to, but we
We
can't.
want to go on to
24 minutes, Tim.
Let's discuss that facade and footage and all that stuff, like what we're talking about in that, we talked about it before, but we never have done anything, from my understanding, right?
Yeah, the thing that the council passed, the thing that the council passed the other night, that pertains to the lot. lots. That made all the lots, conform. It didn't have anything to do with the houses. That just said, all that said was, this 80-foot R1 lot conforms because it was platted in 1975.
Right.
So, that's all that makes it. So now we've got to figure out a way to make the old facades and old square footage work in the older districts.
So our present codes will not suffice that.
I mean, just the way it's written now, I mean, they still have to build a 2,000 square foot house in an R1 lot that may only be 60 foot, 80 foot wide. And brick it.
Any suggestions from the board?
And brick all four sides.
All four sides.
All four sides of it, 70% of brick.
So we're talking, like, so give me like an example, so are we talking about like if a home, like if a home burns down or something, we're saying that like, if it comes like, I mean, I hate to even give a scenario, but, okay, my home burns down in Rossburg, I'm gonna have to build back.
The provision in what we passed in the council last time covers destruction of the house. It can be built back exactly.
So we're talking about new builds.
Yes.
This is going to mainly concern like Brentwood Hills.
Brentwood Hills, old part of town. We were looking today, trying to find if there are any straggler RG lots around in different subdivisions. RG, we didn't really find any RGs, I know. Like, there may be one or two out there we just missed, but most of it is R1 lots, R2 lots. Yeah, Marengo's got a few R1 lots that are not built on. Brentwood Hills is full of it.
Yeah. I do Brentwood.
And you had
Allendale.
Allendale. Yeah,
Can they not get exemptions for that, so we have to change our
I mean,
codes on that?
technically, could they ask for a variance? I mean,
Yeah.
technically, you're not supposed to ask for a variance for that because it's not
not
on.
hard.
Hardship, yeah, okay. We made it a hardship.
But we made it.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that, I don't want to build a house because you made it too hard.
We're talking about a very finite amount of property, right?
Yeah.
More than you think.
But, yeah, Connie's right. When you go over to Brentwood Hills and you go to the old side of town over there, there's hundreds
There's a lot of lots.
that have the potential to be built on.
But the thing you have to remember is those are already platted.
Yeah.
And
So we're just-
it wouldn't do anything to anything that was newly platted. Like
Yes,
somebody
that's-
bought a piece of property.
That's why that date is
To
on.
make it a subdivision, then that's got to go by the new standards.
So we're just pretty much saying like, they would be required to fit their area, whatever the requirements.
That's what we're
are.
trying
Yes.
to do.
Yeah, because why would you make someone build under something that the value would be
We
way
take-
above what
You
they're.
take Brentwood Hills as an example, I'm gonna keep bringing it up, but Brentwood Hills,
I'm not familiar with that is, where's that
right over there.
at?
You know where the Blue Daycare is?
Yeah.
That,
Up that way. That's where I grew up. But you make somebody build a 2,000 square foot house in a neighborhood that's
They're never gonna be.
surrounded by 1,200 square foot houses all over the place.
Okay. So
Just
how-
trying to make it fit the neighborhood.
Okay, so how do you, the wording on that?
That's a good question. We've been struggling with that for
yeah.
a while.
Where do you put it to where it covers it? And there's no question.
Can you put something similar to a grandfather clause in it?
See, I thought about that.
Yeah, Tammy brought it, and adding it to the grandfather clause that's in there already. That's possible, I think.
But you're still gonna have to come up with the size of the house.
Well, it would grandfather back to basically when it was platted.
Are there records that show that?
We have zoning that goes back to 1980. Now,
Yeah.
do we want that? I don't think so.
My concern about this
facade requirements.
Yeah.
This isn't, yeah, this,
Yeah, we wanted to know if y'all wanted to keep the all brick facade requirements on all
So we're talking about number one right now?
that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I think that's reasonable. I don't understand why we would require someone to build a 200 square foot house if their neighbors all have 1,200. They'll never get that value. No, it's not.
because that would be like.
And it takes
basically
over
your
a
house,
lot. I mean,
You know, burn, you would have to build it back to the bigger house, the
Yeah, you take your whole
floor
lot up.
sidewalk brick,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, when you make
you're gonna
them,
stick out over there.
yeah, when you make them build that 2,000 square foot house, you're taking up all the setbacks, and that lot may not be that big.
Yeah. So is there any other neighboring district that has anything that we could go upon, like, or look at?
I've looked at Alabaster, Helena, and them, and I couldn't find anything in there.
No?
Basically, theirs was,
Well, maybe.
Alabaster fixed it with the non-conforming lot verbiage.
Do you mean if they can't comply with the new regs? It's just,
Well, I mean, you say that, but we almost copied word for word what Alabaster put in there.
okay.
And, I mean, it's my opinion, but the way it reads to me, it only applies to the lot, because it calls out lot. It doesn't say anything about structure, and it does call out structures when it needs to be rebuilt. It doesn't say anything about new builds.
What does our legal representation say?
Well, I haven't had a chance to actually review what y'all got so far.
Sure.
No, that's what we have, that is not what they passed the other night, that's what we have.
This is what you had, nothing you're not conforming.
Right. I mean, what we have. Do you know what we passed?
All right, so now we're taking that.
Range 42, yeah,
So that right there.
there's the whole curve.
Oh. More lots. Is this gonna be proposed? Yeah, I mean, something similar should be kind of passed. Place. This is what you have to know. What if anything is?
The date, the plat date.
What about so?
It doesn't change, like, say, the square footage of the facade of the house.
Yeah.
That was my opinion, and it covers a lot.
Yeah. And after my quick review and looking what y'all had for and what the new one, I think it strictly references the lots, so I agree with you. Now, well, let me read it one more time, if you have any questions on it, but
Like prior to it, so that 46 is. That was the bigger part, last change. So, if we need to, if they want to take care of the facades and the square footage and all that stuff, just, like I said, in my opinion, it needs to be covered somewhere.
In detail. So we're just talking about the,
All right, could we come up with, say, all right, if you've got a non-conforming lot, that house has got, meet all the setbacks and all that kind of stuff, but it's got to fit that footprint prior to whatever date that we came up with that. Is that possible?
Is it possible?
Yeah. Because that's gonna cut down on your square footage of your house, correct?
I mean, if you,
As long as it doesn't supersede the 2,000 square foot.
I don't know, that's where I think you'll need to, it's got to be written in there somewhere where it allows it to go back. You know,
to what it was.
But it's never had anything on there, is the problem. These are the lots that are undeveloped, and we're talking, some of
Yeah,
them.
because-
Not all of them.
also, if you think about it, if we keep harping on Brentwood Hills, but those lots in Brentwood Hills were platted probably in the 50s.
I'm not sure. It was prior to 1972, I can tell you that.
So, like, are there, like, how many undeveloped lots are there in there?
There's quite a few.
There's quite a few in Brentwood Hills,
And there's quite a few down in
Few
the
in
whole part of
down.
town down here too.
yeah.
It's not been built on.
And they're becoming popular because they're not in a neighborhood.
But is there an average for the neighborhood, or?
There is, and that was kind of my suggestion, is you look at the neighborhood and kind of get what's surrounding it.
I guess it's like comps.
So like the square footage, kind of do like a comp.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that for the square footage, I think for the facade, you know, where we update the facades now, you know, so,
I don't really want to change that, so.
well, I mean, we don't, you know, we're not building houses like 80s or 90s anymore, so, I mean, I can see the square footage being something we consider, but the facades we make current.
Okay.
Or are you saying we can't do both?
There's nothing stopping you.
There's nothing from stopping you, it's just that, a lot of house plans nowadays, they have different building materials that, to me, make them look nice, but I just feel like when you get into a four-sided brick, you're kind of limited on your aesthetics of the house.
I agree, but it just almost sounds like a variance, because it's gonna be on a case-by-case basis, depending on the neighborhood you're talking about.
But if you go back to the technical term of a variance, it's
It's not
supposed to be a hardship.
Yeah, and that's not, I mean.
So, I mean, what do you do?
So
You
it
look at
actually would
every-
have to come back to us to approve.
Not on a case-by-case basis, no.
But so do you, I mean, how do you look at every area to develop a baseline? I mean, unless you just have a vague, that it matches the square footage, the average square footage of the area?
I mean,
What do you determine as the
Well,
area?
and then throwing Brentwood Hills out now, we got a per se subdivision up there that we call Brentwood Hills. You go down here in town, and you, how are you gonna set your standards?
It's just,
Yeah.
it's just gonna
Well, I mean, how many, you go 4 blocks, 5 blocks?
See, and the thing in Brentwood Hills is, and I know this because like I said, I grew
I
up
know.
there, so I know all the
I know.
houses in there. There's 2,500 square foot houses in there,
Yeah.
you know, and there's 1,000 square foot houses in there.
yeah.
I mean, what are you basing your comp on?
Right.
What you want it to be?
How did y'all decide, Kevin, on that, the two houses that was permitted to be built there on 25, say?
19th Street.
It was
They sit right down the road on 25, which just recently been built in that.
He built those with a variance on the lot size and the setbacks, but had to build the larger house, and it looks like a sore thumb in there to me. That's just my opinion.
And
Because it's very close to the road, because he had to build the big house so big.
yeah, and we've got a builder right now building on 19th Street right over where you're talking about, and he had to do square footage. Had to get a variance on setbacks and variance on parking, because it couldn't fit.
On the zoning board of adjustments, we had several cases where when they brought it in, because of the lot size and the change in the setbacks, it had put those owners at a hardship. So you could do something with some of those lots with the setbacks and the size of the house even, because some of them you couldn't get to it. But facades you can't fool with, because there's no way to say in this state you've got a hardship where that would be a stretch. So,
Well, you would be out of every builder when they come in and say a hardship because you're making him do brick.
yep.
That's not hard.
So,
That's not hard.
No, it's not a hardship, but it,
Fitting a house on a lot's a hardship.
oh, yeah.
It's because
When
we
you made the house-
created the problem.
You made the house too big to fit on.
Right.
But the layout of the two houses does look biddable for that community. I mean, doesn't it? I mean, for the rest of the houses, you know, look, I don't know, I'm just trying to think of other houses. Does it look as well or nicer?
yeah, I mean,
I mean,
they're
it would
nicer.
look nicer, but I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, when you say sort of, you're saying because of,
Well, I mean, it's so close to the road because he had to move it up to make the house bigger, so it kind of just like, that's the first thing you see when you hit that street now, is that house sitting so far up.
like, will you agree that it probably improves the value of the other houses in the community?
Hey, for them, but for the person who built
yeah,
it.
probably not the person that bought that house.
Yeah.
but Yeah, the other ones, yeah.
Yeah.
The other houses.
I mean, could you do something like that they would have to build towards the higher end of square footage in the area instead of the lower end? I don't know how you would word that, but like, to where, you know, because if you're in it, like, okay, you're talking about that neighborhood, and you said that there's like 1,200 square foot homes and 2,000. I mean, how do you even find?
That was my kind of point. I mean, where do you,
Yeah.
Where do you-
And
where
who
do you
makes
draw the
that
line?
call?
I think we gotta have a minimum,
oh yeah, you definitely got to, you've always had a minimum in your
Right.
zone.
so,
But that's kind of the question it was,
But that also depends on where you're building, because if you're building like 19th or whatever, you can't build 2,000, right?
no.
So, I mean, what is your minimum, 15, 16?
well, the kind of the suggestion that we gave was, or giving is regarding back to the zoning requirements before we made the major changes.
Okay.
And that was.
For the footage.
21, no.
But we put that date because it matched the lot modification, the amendment that we passed.
It did.
Yes, that date does. But really, anything, even though we made major changes in 21, there was nothing but subdivisions in between that time that might have been platted.
Right,
So
yeah.
you're not worried
Because all
about
that's been
anything
platted.
like that.
So you're saying if we revert back to before 21, that will meet the requirement?
Mhm.
It would make it a lot easier for them.
Yep.
They wouldn't have to so much go get variance, maybe not.
Is there any way to get a, I mean, this might be like a really tough question, is there any way to get a list of what we're talking about property, or is it just so vast that would be,
Oh, it's,
it'd be hard to get all that checked?
I can show you. I can show you.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Let me get right back.
You got 4 minutes?
It's gonna say that.
Okay.
Yeah, because see, R1 went from 1,200 square foot to 2,000 square foot when we made those changes.
When the changes were made, wasn't it the intent, I mean, that was kind of a looking forward thing, right? So, it was,
Yeah, and I think the changes, in my opinion, the changes was made for new stuff platted. I don't think anybody was even though we tried to point it out, that when you make these changes, you're changing everything. And there's a lot of lots still on the ground, and I think it was meant specifically for newly platted subdivisions, not for the old stuff. But in the meantime, fix the new, you've messed up the old.
Platted before 2021,
Mhm.
you're saying the verbiage would have to be, anything is exempt from this prior to 2021.
I would
was
think that
platted,
would, I mean,
It's platted.
yeah.
so I guess then what's the impact if we revert back, what's the downside to that? Because it sounds like there's situations where you can't even physically make it work, right? Because a 2,000 square foot home won't fit on certain lots.
Right.
So it's physically impossible, so you gotta do something.
Yeah. And we made the nonconformity, the owner didn't. I mean,
This is,
I mean, right back to Brentwood here, I've been saying, because I own one, but the lots were 75 by 150, so you had to buy 2 lots. Now you're only talking 150 by 150.
yeah.
And
This doesn't concern me about like old neighborhoods like that, or even like downtown. It more concerns me in like Shallow Creek and such.
Shallow Creek's a PUD, so.
Well, I know that, we also have we also have.
The only thing we
agreement with
have
them.
new coming is gonna be Mill Point. They're already building under the new standards and Set Us Place, and they're building under.
But
the
we
new
also have
standards.
an understanding with Shallow Creek that they're gonna come back to us. That was pretty much written in stone, so that was pretty much told to us. Very, very clear.
I think it was an agreement with the previous owner, and I
Yeah,
don't
we
know
talked about that too.
if Holland Homes, I don't
Yeah, we
know.
were
That's a
very-
legal question.
Yeah, we were very clear on that when
Yeah.
we talked about it. So we were told that that was gonna be, heavy, pretty much, very much considered, so I would really hate to hear if that's gone back on, but we have bad advice. But, that would be my concern. I don't, this 19th Street, the subdivision you're talking about, I understand,
Yeah, I was just gonna show you, like, you were asking
I
how
do wanna know
many.
who's all affected.
Like that red area right there,
Um,
all this red is Brentwood Hills.
Gotcha.
I mean, there's empty lots all through here. There's a lot of empty lots over in here. And these are all, a lot of these are probably conforming, actually, like that one definitely is.
Hey, let's go ahead and start the regular meeting.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. We can go back to that.
And then we can go back to it. All right. I have a motion to accept the minutes from the last meeting. As read here.
I make the motion.
Second.
I'll say it.
Motion made and second, all in favor? Minutes. Don't have anything. All right, let's go ahead and proceed, with what we were talking about here. Because that's the only thing we have on the agenda. Has anybody got any old business they want to talk about?
Mr. Chairman, Patty, I just want one question I can get, on those commercial projects that's going on. You said something about an eye doctor, that was the hotel and eye doctor together?
No, the dentist office is
The
in,
the dentist office and the eye doctor are sharing the same building?
when the,
Not
when
that.
the- no, not that, when the doctor's office opened there, that white building, he had a space that was available to rent out, and an eye doctor rented that out and did some renovations in it. Oh, dentist, I'm sorry, dentist office. Yes. Did some renovations in there, so I put it on there because they had a permit.
Okay, and the area that's clean out on that building on the side, now that's the hotel.
Yes. If you go back there and you see where they cut that hill out, that's where the hotel's going.
Okay. And on King's Crossing, do we know what it's going to be in there?
It's just basically it's like a little strip mall. I think it's only like,
7 or 8 suites.
yeah, I want to say it was like 8,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I know.
It's not very big.
And also on 2 points I had concern about, I didn't understand.
Anything else? Anything else? All right, go ahead, proceed, Phil.
That's just showing Brentwood Hills.
All right, go ahead and, that's Brentwood Hills, let's go down, can you move it downtown? The old bar town?
I can't.
Jada.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
You'll see a lot of that, I mean, there's a lot of lots over in here. Those are R2 lots. Most of that stuff's built. And all this down here.
So where besides
But
that?
when
There's some back in
those,
Allendale.
yeah, but when you see those bigger lots like that,
Yeah.
those wouldn't be affected either, because they wouldn't be able to subdivide those smaller than what our requirements are.
So where besides downtown are we talking?
That's really about it. And there's a few strangler lots in Marengo.
Okay, so we're mostly talking about like right around here.
Yeah, and if your house burned in a subdivision that you lived in,
Well, that was taken care of in.
Yeah.
in what we
That,
passed.
or some catastrophe happened.
right,
Okay, we need to talk about that.
Tornadoes or something like that.
right.
All right. All right.
So we just need to be able to develop the wording.
That's it, is where do we put it?
Throw that in.
Can we put it in like Article 4 or Article 6, just tack it on to the end? Have something specifically for those before that date that addresses,
Undeveloped, platted.
yeah, in the older ones, that addresses their building size. I don't know what.
Problem is, I haven't seen what you got there as far as, I'm not sure.
Where it would specifically say, this is, this supersedes
This is
what's
the
in
grandfather
the,
clause that they had in when they originally made this change.
yeah,
Messed it.
I mean,
supersedes what's got in Article 5.
Well, it would be an exception to, wouldn't it? An exception to that article. Anything completed before 2021?
yeah, October 18th, 2021.
Yeah.
So this is at the end of Article 4?
Mhm.
The
The beginning.
Beginning of Article 5, okay.
Yeah.
I would just say generally, anytime that you have any article that says, here's your requirements, and then have a tag at the end, kind of like you're saying, say, except for, here's the exceptions, usually that's gonna be the best place at the end of the article, I think. So that you basically lay everything out as far as, what is required, except for, and then that'd be kind of your last tag. So, I mean, as far as location goes, that would be my general. That's generally what I would say. The way this reads, that this is beginning, and we have done in the past, I don't know if this is the way that y'all would have done it, but I would put it at the end of an article.
Article 5.
I think so. I mean,
Yeah, Article 5, establishment of districts.
yeah. Then it just comes down to what that wording would be and how you determine it.
Yeah, like what we included in it, right? So we're just, because would you combine square footage and facade all in the same place?
I believe the exception would be what was prior to 2021. whatever the codes were before then.
Yeah. I don't know, I kind of want the facade updated. I feel like we've updated, we've moved forward, and I feel like the facade needs to be matching what we're moving forward with. The square footage to me makes sense, but I don't know why you would not update your facade to look like it's 2024 instead of 1970 or 1980.
Talking about the facade and the kind of the coming look that, people are like, people like and want to see now, it kind of comes back around. So what's popular right now is a board and batten look, and you can get that with a cement-based siding, which we have excluded only to limit you to 30%. And I pulled up homes that I've personally heard, you've got some very nice, expensive homes with more than that look, horizontal and vertical siding, cement-based siding, not vinyl, cement-based siding. So you can't build that house in Calera. That house was built, there's a friend of mine building the house that's got very little stone on it in Chelsea. The house was the Parade of Homes of Tennessee's house, home of the year. We can't build it here. And I've experienced that. I'm building houses, I've experienced it. I talked to Kenny Dell, he's building houses, he's experienced it. And we talk about the old look. This is the old look, and this is what's resurfaced.
But they're not all building like that. I mean, they're also using cheap vinyl or things like that.
I wish we could accommodate a cementous-based siding as a durable instead of just brick.
Yeah.
Or just rock, stone. A cementous-based siding, to me,
Very durable.
is a long life product, and you get a certain look. Because we're using the hardy board, we're using the harness and the entire amount of our houses that are not brick or I know that that's a hot topic. Kevin, the discussion that we had with the Seth Gardens, whatever it was, the product that they want to look on Highway 12 in their individual buildings, the product, the look that they want, they can't have. They want something like this with cement-based siding.
Oh, are you actually
We do.
talking about the other day?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's actually the apartments that are going on George Roy. Yeah, Seth Gardens is,
They're good,
Yeah, they're
okay.
pretty good.
We looked at an example, and
Greg's gonna go get it, he has his stuff for the meeting tomorrow night, and I
It
can show him
looked-
the pictures.
what we have with brick looks real institutional versus, more modern home.
They don't have the pictures in it.
I'm thinking that we may have made a mistake to say that you have to have at 70% brick. We have this type siding, cement-based siding, and I'm speaking from experience, I'm speaking as a part of who was here when we made the decision, but I think we can move in the direction to allow this, and we will have opportunities to build. And the guys that did them right across from McMahon Farms, that are building those houses,
they
Jerry.
didn't want to build a brick
Yeah.
house either.
They didn't want
Yeah.
a brick house, they
Well,
wanted a white
it didn't
farmhouse.
fit, it didn't fit, the look didn't fit, they couldn't accommodate what they wanted with brick, so. I'm glad we're having this discussion, this is a very durable product, and it would solve a lot of
This is
the,
called concrete based.
it's James Hardy Corporation, but it's a cement-based siding, it's very durable, it's not vinyl. So, I think you could put it with one of your acceptable siding, a cement-based siding,
Yes.
non-vinyl.
So it's not the same stuff as was used in like, gosh, what was it like, Waterstone? That was a hardy board. It is?
I'm not sure what, I thought they had vinyl up in Waterstone.
I don't think it's hardy board.
I don't know that it's hardy board, but it's
I know
And
what you're
it
talking
may
about.
be the paint they use.
Yeah.
Because they,
And the upkeep, if you don't upkeep it, anything's gonna, I mean, you could get a brick house, all brick houses, if they don't upkeep it, you're still gonna have the same problem.
that hardy board didn't last near as long as the brick does.
I don't think it was hardy board,
A lot of people are calling something, the company that manufactures a particular type of cement-based siding is the James Hardy Corporation, which is, they're calling it the Hardy Board.
That's not
So, yeah, you just have to be careful with knowing the fiber makeup of the product. Cement-based siding is different than vinyl siding.
And what you saw in, see in Waterstone may just be a subpar product too. Could be. But I just know with builders and people who are trying to build houses around here, the majority of them are saying, I don't want a brick house. You know, these are custom houses too.
Yeah, it's a high dollar.
Not that they're wanting to cut, not that they're wanting to cut, the cost is not that much different.
No.
They can't build that by y'all standards.
because of the.
It has to be a total brick, and they're like, it's gonna look like a housing project, an institution. I mean, it's not gonna, people's not gonna really rent that. So, I mean, and those are very nice. High dollar, they built them in Huntsville.
That's what was brought to our attention last week, so I think we would be doing ourselves a good deed to reconsider
Very nice.
the facade in that respect.
As long as you specify what they replace it with.
Or, you know, have more of an,
Materials that they use.
something else allowable, which
Yes.
would be hardy.
I think you're gonna have to come up with, instead of brand name, you're gonna have to come up with
Cement siding.
Oh, yeah.
you can't brand it.
No.
And Hardy Board would be a brand.
I don't know if y'all mentioned it while I run out, but, it looks like, I've thought this before, number 7, where it talks about the building facades on each one of the districts, DER, wherever it is. It looks like that just really needs to be revisited and rewritten anyway. Because if you are a builder or an architect or a designer and you look at that, the honest truth is it's gonna leave you scratching your head, because you could put T111 all around your house, but you can't do the cement siding it's very popular. It's one of the most durable, long-lasting things out there. Just the way that's written, it's really limiting some good products and leaving it wide open for some stuff you may not want to see all on a house.
Wood, some versions of wood.
There's a lot of wood cladding that's not worth
It's
anything,
not good
but
to
it's
use.
fine to put on a house here, and even on the state lots.
Yeah.
But I think you could just, that's basically the same thing, each number 7 for each one of those. Just look at that and rewrite it to be a little more forgiving on that. I think that would
If you
take
just
care of
add
it.
cement siding, cement-based siding.
Yeah, you can take the way it's worded, where it says vinyl siding and cementitious siding may be used as an accent material. If you just took cementitious siding out of that sentence and added it to the sentence with that list of durable materials.
That's right. And then let somebody that had to be building a brick house that wanted 4 sides of brick, let the 30% be vinyl. We currently have no problem with that.
Yeah,
They make a good vinyl product, but just that they'd be an entire house,
right,
you know.
yes.
I think that all sticks with our intention of what we were trying to do when we updated those, I think we were trying to get, elevate the look, but maybe consider all the materials that were available.
You're exactly right. I think that was our intent. That was a part of it, like I said, it was in our day. So I just think we need to go back and clean that up and allow cement-based siding where it is, and then no more than 30% vinyl, to accommodate
Is that the front or all?
it. Also, do, what you see on this house, you see brick, you see horizontal hardy, and you see vertical more than that, which is hardy. You got a brick chimney, you got many, different types of
Materials.
materials on the facade.
Seems like we're pretty much all in agreement that we want to change this, correct?
Give us a direction.
All right, and can you come up with some verbiage as to what we're wanting?
What do you want it to say?
When are we wanting?
What do you want it to say?
What do we want?
We talked about a couple different things. We talked about like, the square footage of the lot sizes that have been pre-platted, how we deal with that. And then we're also talking about not just the facades to those houses, but maybe even looking at our full regs.
Yeah, that's kind of what not a very well, that's what number.
Or two ones, yeah. So I don't know, are you talking, you're still talking about just number one?
No, kind of both.
Okay, good. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So, yeah, so, we're kind of looking at how we change the verbiage for the first thing you talked about, and then looking at the facade not only for those existing that it may concern, but maybe even affecting,
That would encompass everything.
yeah, just making some small changes. Is that clear, or is that like kind of like, any direction on what we're thinking?
The first one's gonna be, number one's gonna be tough, but
Yeah.
But where to put
There's
it,
gotta
where
be,
to put
there's
it.
gotta be
So we're
districts
gonna-
doing something
We're
like
gonna
that.
take the Semidia
There are-
siding out of we're gonna put it
That's
in
my
the
suggestion, is take it-
materials allowed.
take it out of accent and put it into
And put
durable
it in
materials.
materials allowed, and then they can only do 30% of vinyl, if they choose.
And then the other thing that I guess I would point out is you probably need, because what you're doing is you have a laundry list of what is a durable facade, so I guess you want to make sure that you're being inclusive of everything that you want to use. And I'm ignorant, as far as what all those options may be, but you don't want to say A, B, and C, because then you're excluding everything else under the sun, unless you can come up with a really good description of a durable facade that captures everything that you would want. So I think what we have now is a good start, because we do have a little list here, but it may take, whomever has, better knowledge of the other options out there to look at this list and make sure that there's not like a new hot material on the horizon that should be included here. So you're not looking at this in 2 years going, hey, look at this house that we can't build in Calera. So I know it's hard, it's always, a moment in time where you're just dealing with the information that you have, but whomever will be that person that can say, here's all the durable facades out there, just make sure that we've made a good effort to try to capture that in the updated version.
Maybe some metal clad coming down the lake that, I don't know if you've seen any of that up in Denver yet, but
Not yet.
Metal's allowed, so.
So I'll go out there with the container house, I'm gonna.
I hope we're not going there. All right, so you want to try to come up with some verbiage for that before our next meeting?
What's our number 3? Did we address number 3?
We had on.
No, that was, RG
The
set,
parking,
RG
the
set.
setbacks,
Yeah.
35 foot.
Can you pull it back up, James? Let me get to it. Okay. Currently in RG, you have a 25-foot minimum setback on the fronts and a 35-foot maximum setback on the front. So the house can't be further than 35 feet off the setback. But you require 4 parking spaces that are both 20 foot deep. They're 40 feet. So you got 5 foot too much. It's got to go somewhere.
that's that new math we learned in here.
Hey. That common core, don't get me started.
So we either need to do, maybe there is a reason for a maximum setback. I'm not sure one, but,
Do you have to have 4 parking spaces? So you're saying going from 35 to 25?
no. The setback, the front setback minimum is that same.
Okay, it's the,
there's a maximum. and
They
you're-
added that verbiage of a maximum setback of 35 feet.
And you've got to
For
have
some
at
reason,
least 40 feet to put 4 parking spots in
They did it when they added those 4 parking spaces, they
there.
added that verbiage.
Somebody missed it.
so what's your recommendation?
Myself,
Yeah,
do away with the 35 foot maximum.
Just admit that and you're done.
Yeah.
I don't know why you have a maximum. I mean,
I don't know if they copied it from
I
somebody
think it's
else's
a typo.
book,
I mean, to me, you set your house back as far as you want to.
that's pretty easy.
So just amend that one and swap it.
Yeah, that's only in RG.
RG.
That's it.
That's all you got? All right.
So the next part of my concern.
Would y'all be opposed to having a special meeting if we can get all this together before the next meeting? Where we're not 2 months
think-
out getting it implemented?
I think it will help the case with George Roy. I think it will help them, give them direction.
And you've got to,
Are we under
the person that brought this,
constraints
the person that brought this up to me was the developer of Go Point. And if you remember right, they go by all the new standards. And they picked up on it, like, well, we can't put our house farther than 35 feet back, but we got to put 40 feet worth of parking.
So are you thinking maybe like the end of October, potentially, like 2 weeks?
Yeah,
So likely to have 2 things on. But maybe
Yeah.
3.
3.
I have
That would be
looked at
it, and then if
anybody
you
else?
go
I could do the 28th.
I'll be here.
Yeah, I'm good.
the 28th,
I mean, I just, okay, so,
okay,
Yeah.
that'll work.
Thank you.
Enough time to get it on that next council.
I wouldn't make the next one.
Yeah, I should.
but that will just be the things we discussed tonight, right? That will be added to that meeting? It won't be anything else? Okay.
No, that would be it.
Yeah,
Yep.
I should be back now.
Thunder beat.
Anybody got any more business?
Everybody make a motion?
Do I have a motion to adjourn? We have it.